welcome back to the Post Sunday app. We are doing our second take at this video in hopes that the congregation will be, and us, will be continued to be challenged to apply the sermon past Sunday morning. So we heard about spiritual authority yesterday.
Yeah, just talking about how true biblical spiritual authority is received from God. It's an authority that a person receives from God. And true biblically exercised spiritual authority is going to be used to exalt God. So received from God, and as it's exercised, it exalts God. And so we talked about what true biblical authority looks like, and we saw the example of the counterfeit spiritual authority exercised by the Pharisees, or by the scribes, the Sadducees, the chief priests.
Okay. So help us with some positive examples of what a true spiritual leader who's received authority from God, doing it in a God-exalting way. What does that person's life look like?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because a lot of my examples yesterday were either negative examples or alluded to negative examples. And I think there are obviously a lot of positive examples out there. And of course, the primary positive example of biblical authority would be Jesus Christ. Here's a person who had all the authority as God to do whatever he wished, and he chose to come, humble himself, and serve others. And so that's obviously the essence of biblical authority, rightly exercised to glorify the Father. But I also thought, as I was thinking about what are some other positive examples I could give. I've been in a lot of churches where authority was mishandled. But I was thinking about my time at Bethany Baptist and how they served as a great model for me, the leaders there, of what biblical authority looked like. I think Pastor Lyle there is obviously a great example of servant leadership. He told me one time his job on staff was to make the other pastors look good. And so he worked and it was a tough job, obviously. Yeah. If you've seen the pastors at Bethany Baptist, including myself in that. But it was that was his role. That's what he wanted to do. And I think really all the elders and staff at Bethany Baptist, whenever they planted our church, they took upon themselves the role of servant, to give up people from their church in order to proclaim the name of God in a different community. So I think there's a lot of really good examples of servant leaders who exercise true biblical authority, understanding that authority is given to a person for a moment of time in order to exalt God. Yeah,
in your sermon, you were very complimentary of the elders and staff here at Bethany Community, which I would completely agree with you, not just because I'm one of them, but just a great group of men that I think you hear of spiritual leadership roles at churches where a person will say, oh, I detest going to those meetings. I want to get away from those meetings, where it is not a chore, I think, for either one of us to show up at those elder meetings just feeling like we're with a group of guys that we would go in the trenches with that exercise spiritual authority in a real healthy way.
Yeah, that's good. I would, as I was thinking about the sermon too, I did have this thought. I hope I didn't, I work most closely with the elders and the associate staff, but really people at all levels of leadership and all different types of leadership at Bethany Community I've been very impressed by, and I hope that they feel loved and appreciated as well. There's a lot of silent servants out there who are practicing biblical authority.
That's right. Well, that ties in another question then that we got was, what are some ways that we can diagnose if we are exercising spiritual authority no matter where we serve? If we have a title of elder, or if we don't have a title in our homes as we're spiritual authority over our children, what are some questions that we can ask ourselves to make sure we're healthy in that?
Yeah, I think we ask ourselves questions about motivation. Why am I doing this? We ask ourselves, what would I do if this was taken away from me? Am I holding on to this so tightly that this position or this authority that if God decided tomorrow to take it away, that I'd be devastated? Or do I rightly say, hey, this is God's position. He's given me this for this moment, and as I have it, I'm using it for His glory. You also ask the question, what are the ways that I'm serving others in this position? And if all I'm thinking about as I'm engaging in this role of authority is how others are going to benefit me, then that's not biblical authority. But instead, if I'm asking, okay, how am I using this role to serve others, that's a sign of good biblical authority.
Yeah, good. Well, good word and good challenge for us to consider as we try to apply the sermon post Sunday. So thanks for joining us again on the Post Sunday app.